Congratulations to the Phenom, JARONBOOTSENNIS, for defeating the undefeated champion Eimantas Stanionis. Now, this fight was for unification, and not just that, both of these fighters coming in were undefeated, but only one was able to come out undefeated, and that is JARONBOOTSENNIS, the unified, undefeated welterweight champion. Congratulations, champ. In the beginning of the fight, it looked like the Lithuanian Stanionis was actually pressing the fight, and he was making JARONBOOTSENNIS go backwards for about 2 rounds. As we all know, the first and the second round are kind of fill-out rounds, and you are just trying to see what your opponent can bring to the table. Now, I have JARONBOOTSENNIS beating Stanionis in every single round, but the first 2 rounds, it did not seem that JARONBOOTSENNIS completely outclassed Stanionis. Stanionis was standing his ground, and he was landing a lot of clean power shots. Now, I know he did look amazing, kind of like the Roman Villa fight. He looked similar to that, but none of this stuff is gonna work on Terrence Crawford. Watch JARONBOOTSENNIS try to showboat. Terrence Crawford is gonna crack him. Yes, and JARONBOOTSENNIS does seem like he is special, and he does pass the eye test, but Terrence Crawford is just as special. None of that showboating is gonna work on Terrence Crawford, and it will probably hurt JARONBOOTSENNIS. They both could do similar things. They're both really great fighters, and they both can switch from orthodox to southpaw and southpaw to orthodox. Now, once you really think about it, this will be a very interesting fight. Terrence Crawford versus JARONBOOTSENNIS, because what if Terrence Crawford switches from orthodox to southpaw, and what if JARONBOOTSENNIS does the same? They both will throw off their game plan. Say somebody wants to go southpaw, because once they do so, they believe they're gonna do some damage. But if the other guy turns southpaw too, it will really throw off what they're trying to do. I just hope they do not do it so often that they throw out the whole fight and it just confuses people. But we will probably not get that fight anytime soon, because Terrence Crawford can retire anytime. As we all know, Terrence Crawford is gonna fight Canelo Alvarez in Saudi Arabia, and Crawford is getting 50 million and Canelo's getting 70 million. And talk about more roadblocks. This fight was supposed to happen at 147 when Crawford was still in the division, but Crawford cannot make 147 anymore, and he had to move to 154. And the way boxing works, you really only fight twice a year when you're a pretty top level fighter. And JARONBOOTSENNIS also mentioned that he does not want to move to 154 until he becomes undisputed at 147. Now, he has 2 belts, and that's 2 more belts to go. That's 2 different champions. That's 2 different fights. So that's about a year before he even moves to 154, and that's if there's no fights in between. As we all know, Mario Barrios is another champion, and that will be a very good fight for Boots. If he beats Mario Barrios, he would only need to fight 1 more champion, and then he can move to 154. Now, to me, the welterweight division is pretty weak because everybody left. All the top level fighters, Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, Virgil Ortiz, and all the other top fighters out of 154. 147 has the weakest division in boxing at the moment. So I have Boots Ennis beating everybody at 147, but at 154, he's as good as the top 10 level fighters. And not just that, JARONBOOTSENNIS fights at 147, but he's actually bigger than most fighters at 154. And the only reason he can get away by making 147 and being so big is because he is young, and he's able to do it because, you know, he has youth on his side. Now, I think JARONBOOTSENNIS is a really good fighter, but my co-host, Mr. Northpaw, the Chicago Lip, says otherwise. All right, Northpaw, take the floor.
Northpaw, the Chicago Lip, back at you with another one. So everyone is praising Boots Ennis for his win against Stanionis. I'm really not impressed you beat another Roman Villa, another very flat-footed fighter. We already know you can beat flat-footed fighters. Why don't you fight other types of fighters? Like Teofimo does, he doesn't care what style you have, he will fight you. All that showboating doesn't really mean shed and count when you only look good like that against flat-footed fighter, because at the Avanesian fight you got hit way too much and you did not showboat. Hey, I'm the bad guy, and you need people like me. I'm that guy. I am the instigator. But I'm not all bad. I just speak the facts, just like Oscar's Clapback Thursday. You are not talking shit if you are speaking the facts. I do know that Boots Ennis passes the eye test, but we have to see Boots Ennis versus Crawford or Errol Spence or Ortiz so Boots can really test himself. Sir Boots beats everyone at 147 because it's the weakest it has been in a while, but at 154 Boots can lose if he overlooks anyone in the top 10 at 154. But that's all, folks. Northpaw has spoken. Now back to the boxing world.
Yes, you make some good points, Northpaw, because I also do believe that Jaron Boots Ennis does pass the eye test, but there's a lot of tests still that he has to do. I know he beats everybody at 147 as well, but at 154, everyone is dangerous. Even Boots could have a hard time fighting the top 10 level fighter. And I also agree with you, Northpaw. Yes, Boots looks very, very special and phenomenal against flat-footed fighters, but he did not do that against Avanesian because Avanesian is more of a boxer, and Avanesian did actually hit Jaron Boots Ennis. But Jaron Boots Ennis against a good boxer, I really do not believe he's gonna be able to showboat like that unless he really hurts his opponent. Because I don't think he's gonna be able to do that to Crawford, because if he tries to showboat, that means you gotta let yourself open, and I'm pretty sure Crawford is gonna take that shot. But guess what? These guys still have a long road in their career. Well, not Crawford, but Jaron Boots Ennis does, and he still has time to develop. Who knows? What if he becomes one of the best fighters in the world? But always remember this, champs. I ain't the biggest, I'm the baddest. And if you wanna help out your boy, throw $1 at the super thanks. I got a roll. Peace.
Let's go, champ!